Entertainment.
Welcome to Business Over Beer, where entrepreneurs, small business owners, and people passionate about what they do bring us their stories and their favorite beer. Hosted by Ben Surratt, Jonathan Kaler, and Jason Knope, it's time to get down to business and drink some beer.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Business Over Beer podcast. I am your co-host, Ben Surratt. I am across the screen from me is the Turkey Creek Bat Squatch, and of course, Knope. Knope,
Yes.
what's up?
Not much. What's up with you? How you doing?
It's part two.
It is part two.
So, who do we have?
We got Mr. Keith Sconiers. He is with Northwest Advisor Group and Catalyst, and we're having a great conversation with him about life, about business, credit card processing, all the things.
The very exciting topic.
Keith, man, welcome again to Business Over Beer. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so appreciative, so thankful that you're taking the time to be with us. For anybody who might have missed part one, maybe just give us, again, the 50,000-foot view of your businesses and kind of what you're into.
Yep, absolutely. So Northwest Advisor Group over here helps companies with eliminate the pain and frustration they experience when working with credit card processing, software, and things of that nature. And Catalyst helps athletes transition into business after sports.
Awesome, man. Well, we learned in part one that you are way more than just somebody who advises on payment solutions, that you help your clients at a much higher and deeper level. And I can't wait to kind of get into more of that. But before we do, Ben, are you still thirsty?
I am thirsty. Keith.
Hey,
Every episode of the Business Over Beer podcast, my lovely wife, Angela, picks us out a mystery beer. Do you happen to have a mystery beer in front of you, Keith?
this isn't a sandwich?
I'm torn. I kind of wish it was too.
Yeah, I was hoping this was going to be a sandwich.
This is Angie's mystery deli meats this week. What a jip.
And we all have number one on it. You have a number one?
Yeah, I do.
You never number one? All right,
Yep,
good.
number one.
So we all
Yeah,
have the right
yep.
beer. So
Yep.
with Angie's mystery beer, it's a game we play, and we
Okay.
try to guess what it is without looking at it. You did not cheat, correct, Keith? You're not a cheater.
I did not.
Okay.
Nope. If it was open, I would have eaten this sandwich for sure.
So what we do is we kind of fold the can. It's a can,
Okay.
kind of like this, and then pour a little bit into our glass, and then we take a sip.
Oh.
Did you open it and smell it?
Or you
No,
can drink
I don't
right,
have
out,
a-
you
I
can
don't have
drink
a
right
cup.
out of the can. Drink right
I
out of
don't
the
have. I was not advised to have a cup
Oh, no,
up
no.
here.
Just drink it out of the can. Whatever. Drink it out of the can.
Keith,
Yeah.
if you want to drink it out of the can like a hobo, that's fine.
That fits. I'm from Fresno, California, so that works.
Oh, well, in that case.
It's very fitting.
Okay, well, yeah, then just do that.
Well, then
make,
do just.
make yourself at home.
I had no idea that's how it was done in Presiden. Now I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
I'm
You
a
have
bit-
to
What
do
we
this,
do
though.
is we do
You have
we
to
do
like. You have to do it like this.
we do the Fresno Bulldog pull. And then we take a little sip or
You didn't do the Fresno twist though. You got to do the twist where you make sure the bag's like snug around the can.
I'm not from Fresno, clearly.
Yeah,
I
don't know. Looks like
I look like I got a bag of popcorn or something.
Yeah.
Woo.
I don't know, man. This looks like a Diet Coke can.
Dude, it smells like a lager.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's Angie for you, man. She knows. She knows before we do what the guest is going to bring.
Look how clear it is.
All right.
All right.
Prost, gentlemen.
Prost.
Toast.
It's a lager. It's got to be a lager.
Is this Old English?
Is it Mickey's?
I'm going with a 2007 St. Ides.
This is old E. I'm going to go get some orange juice.
Canope.
Wow.
It's a
Man,
lager.
I didn't know Mad Dog 2020 came in a can.
Yeah.
Hey, can somebody put him on mute? I don't need Angie punishing us for what he's saying, all right?
It's a lagery. It's lagery.
It's kind of weird. It's got a soapiness to it. It's got a soapiness. Like, something.
Lavender.
Lavender.
Or chamomile or some shit.
I don't know. Like, it's soapy to me. Like, that's what I'm getting. A soapy.
Interesting.
Well, if it's lavender, we're going to sleep. This will be the quickest episode we've ever had.
Yeah, it's got like this floral bitterness to it. I don't think it's a lager. I think it's an ale.
A summer ale? No,
But it's
Not.
But it's weird. It's so weird.
Is it strawberry? Strawberry?
Bad. I wouldn't say it's bad. It's just you're
Dude,
right.
it's a berry. It's
Weird.
a berry. It's strawberry.
That could be.
Smell it. Or raspberry.
You might be right, Ben. I hate to say that.
Or even black. It could be black. It smells like blackberry or boysenberry or something.
Dude, it's strawberry. It's got to be strawberry or raspberry or it's a berry. Keith, what do you think?
Figure out that soapiness.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it is, but
Right. Do the reveal. Keith.
I don't get strawberry on the palate at all. I get it in the nose.
Yeah.
but I
In the
don't get
nose.
I don't
It's
get
in the
it
nose.
palate at all.
All right.
It's just kind of weird.
It's,
All right, big
it's
reveal.
strawberry. I'm telling you, it's strawberry something.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I think you're right.
I'm not really picking up on a fruit.
I think
All
you're
right. Keith, let us know what it
Yeah.
is. The reveal.
All right. Okay, the great reveal. It is a pineapple IPA.
What?
Cascade Lakes Brewing. Hey. Rock and roll.
Oh,
That's great.
Suddenly,
wow.
What?
Wow. Yeah.
This is a new one, dudes.
That's right, Turkey Creek Bat Squatch.
That's Mr. Turkey.
Mr. Turkey.
Wow, that's awesome. We have never had this ever. Like
This brewery, you mean?
the brewery, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It's strange how once you know, suddenly, that is pineapple.
Yep.
I see. I still don't get pineapple in the nose.
I do.
I definitely get. I get the strawberry. It still is like kind of soapy to me on the nose.
But at 7.1, holy jeez.
Wow. 7.
I think what threw me it doesn't drink like an IPA.
It's 37 IBUs, man.
Yeah,
it's
but it doesn't have, for me, it doesn't have a big mouthfeel.
Boy, that's
It's all up front. Everything is up front.
right.
So for me, it's hard to like gather any. I don't get a lot of complexity. It's not bad. For again, it's just kind of weird. I don't hate it. I'm not a hater, but it's kind of weird.
Well, hey, Cascade Lakes, good job.
Boom. Good work.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
for real, like
Mm-hmm.
Into it.
straight up.
There it is.
Hey, Keith,
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about merging athletics and
Yeah.
entrepreneurship. Why is that such a big deal for you? Like, why is the athlete and entrepreneurship on the forefront of your mind?
Well, I would say because it's 2021. So I've been out of school for a while. And for me, I've always wanted to figure out, like, my passion has always been like, man, I want to figure out how I can do my own thing. I want to do my own thing. I want to own my own business. I want to run my own life. I want to run my own schedule. I want to be able to do things. And part of that is because I would say my upbringing was a fair amount. Like, my mom was a realtor. My dad was a general contractor, build houses and things like that. I'm used to being out in the community, seeing clients or meeting, being with people, right? And having that freedom to move around in the community and do my own thing. And I never really, in all of the opportunities that I had after college in terms of employment, I never really got that opportunity to really do that in a way that I really wanted to do it. And right now, there's so many companies that are out there that are fine, that are doing a great job at helping athletes get jobs. But to me, that feels a lot like what they were already doing, right? Like the NCAA and how it's set up isn't set up for athletes to have the best life for themselves. It's set up for them to go play for the NCAA while the NCAA runs the business, and the athletes are the asset of that business. And then they go off, hopefully, they could be an asset for a professional, like a pro sports team where the owner owns the asset and the athlete is just one of those assets or chess pieces that get moved around or traded. And I feel like college and just in general, even pro sports teams don't see the real potential that athletes have. And no one's teaching them how to think about how to live, right? Like we have people that say, oh my gosh, you see what this athlete did? Or we disrespect athletes and say, well, oh my gosh, you have all this money and you go off and you do something stupid and you end up in jail. Like, or you didn't treat your education the way that you should have treated it, right? Because we're not really helping athletes realize their true potential. And the reality is that not every athlete wants to go work for somebody else, right? And there's not really a lot of opportunities. Like no one talked to me about, hey kid, if you're thinking about you think you want to be a business owner at some point, like, hey kid, starting your freshman year, you need to have your butt in an internship when you're not in practice or you're not in class, instead of sitting in your freaking dorm room listening to music. Right? It's a passion because athletes for the first time saw athletics as a way, especially if they're from the inner city, they saw it as an opportunity to buy their mom a freaking house, man, to get their mom out of the bad neighborhood into a safer place, something that education didn't offer them. Education never offered that athlete in the middle of Sacramento, California, in the middle of Fresno, in the inner city of Los Angeles, never offered them an opportunity to be able to one day buy their mom a house and get her out of the bad situation that she's in. Right. And neither is going and working for some company for $45,000 your first year out of college. And so why do you think they didn't treat it as serious as they treated athletics? Because athletics, there's an opportunity to do that. Right. But they weren't given these opportunities to even think about their life in that realm. And I think that being able to provide an opportunity into an entrepreneurial path, whether it's real estate, whether it's payments, whether it's insurance, whether it's the fintech sector, whether it's recruiting, finding these opportunities that allow them to continue to give back, like sports. Athletes, for a lot of them, still want to continue to give back to the sport through coaching kids, through whatever it may be. And when you go and you choose a job, like you're going to go work at some other company in a higher level, at a higher level, whether you're an executive, like you're not going to have the opportunity to be coaching kids on the side, really. I mean, because you have a family. But entrepreneurship provides that because you have control over your schedule. You have control over what you're going to do on a Thursday. That working for someone else, you might not have that opportunity. A lot of times I see where athlete they have to choose between who they are and taking care of their family. And I don't think that it should have to be that way. Like for me, I felt for a long time like I had to work at a job because it was like I had to take care of my family. And so I had to. It wasn't because I wanted to, it's because I didn't feel like I had any other options because I just, I didn't know. I didn't know the path. So I had to find out the hard way. I had to try all these jobs, these different situations to one day hopefully get to a point to where I could step into entrepreneurship. When athletes already have a lot of the attributes that are necessary to be successful right out of the gate. I didn't have maybe it shouldn't have taken me 10, 15 years to get to that point. Maybe it should only taken me 5. Maybe I should have worked in under some mentorship from an existing entrepreneur for 5 years until I decided to start my own. Or maybe I started something on the side right away after college so that for 5 years I work at a company, but I have a path to transition into that so that I can give back. Like for me, it was never good enough to just say, well, I got a job and my bills are taken care of. For most entrepreneurs, it's not about having this big business or anything like that. It's about taking care of your family and being able to give back and serve. And so that's why for me, the connection between athletics and entrepreneurship is so important because it's about athletes owning their life. It's not about, hey, go work for XYZ company and sell whatever, and give your soul. It's about how can you own your life, own your brand, own your future so that you can go back and you can be responsible to teaching that same path back to the kids that came from the neighborhood that you came from. And there's not really a lot of resources in that regard. I just read the NCAA report that was talking about how athletes do better than non-athletes after college in terms of success. Which to me, I was like, man, we're really hoes because even athletes are having a challenge transitioning to the real world. So if they're having challenges, but they're doing better than everybody else from the statistics, from the research that the NCAA did, then we're really in trouble. But what I really realized in that report was that the NCAA is not asking athletes, what are your goals and how do you feel about your ability to achieve those? So not even the NCAA can really understand what athletes really want. And so if you can't even understand what your assets or your team or your employees or your customers, what they really want, you can't really help them. And so that's why for me, tying the athlete journey to the entrepreneurship journey is so important because the only way for the athletes that come from the neighborhood that I come from are going to be able to really make an impact after sports is, I believe, through entrepreneurship and through that network that is developed through entrepreneurship, being able to open doors and find opportunities that excite other kids. So athletes, we're the athletes, we're the tall kids in the class, we're the athletic kids in the class, and so we have an opportunity that we could potentially turn that into an opportunity to help our mom, to help our grandma, to help our cousin, to help our aunt. But for the kids who are 5'3" and they're interested in science, how are we inspiring them to be able to have an opportunity where they can change their situation? Right? If we're not talking to them about real opportunities, then that's that's where people become hopeless, where they're just like, man, I can't change my situation, so it doesn't matter what I do. But I think that athletes after the game or even during the game, if they can pivot into entrepreneurship, then their companies become kind of the catalyst to helping other people see other opportunities beyond and outside of sports so that they can actually have hope. And I think that if not only myself as a former athlete, but if the NCAA could see those opportunities and bring those together, then we can rapidly, I think, fight some of the issues that are contributing to some of the challenges that we face in the community that I came from.
So if I hear correctly, what you're saying is that, particularly in this report that you read about the NCAA saying that, oh, athletes are more successful than the average person.
Yeah.
But your contention is that, yes, they may be more successful, whether it be in finding a job or paying their bills or having a livelihood post their athletic career. But your contention is that they're doing it, working for somebody else, working in the workaday world, but we're not taking advantage of their natural competitive spirit, their natural skill sets that would be able to contribute to the broader small business community, which then gives them a bigger opportunity to give back to their communities where they came from. Is that what I heard you say?
Yeah, because how can an organization look at success, quote unquote? We have $2 trillion worth of student credit card debt. Like, to me, like, that's not, like, I wouldn't say like that's not successful, right? Like, we have anywhere from 60 to 80% of people that don't use the degree that they went to school for, or 60 to 80% of people who are not happy at where they are. So, and that's just on a broad sense. So if the athletes are doing better than everybody else, we're really all in a serious challenge. Right. And so, yeah, I would say so. That is my contention.
So, how do you, and what I think is interesting, and I don't know if there's a question here or not, but what I think is interesting is that when I hear athlete, when I hear that, you know, I read your website and it says we help athletes find their passion and their career path and inspire them to entrepreneurship after they're done with their athletic career. I think, well, professional athletes, right? I immediately go to like the big time athletes. Oh, like, I wonder who Keith's working for. That's kind of cool. I wonder if he's working for some, you know, ex Seahawks or ex, you know, Blazers or somebody like that. But when I hear you talk today, then it's like, oh, the reality that, you know, there's millions and millions of athletes that never ever go pro. In fact, none of them really ever go pro, right? Only the minuscule percent go pro. Yeah. I think I don't know if there's a question in that part, other than I think it's interesting that that's where my mind went. But it's like, when I hear you talk, how important it is to reach this other segment of athletes who are putting in an equal amount of blood and sweat and tears and time and training that will never ever go pro. So what does your business do at that level? Are you doing anything at this point at that level, at the college level, at the freshman athlete level, at the incoming athlete level, to start to support some of these ideas, these programs, this education, this training?
Yeah, so I've been on a journey speaking at some schools that are like even junior high, high school level. I talk with former athletes that played at the collegiate level, some that played semi-professional, like overseas, about our journey and what I'm putting together. But yeah, you're right. As far as like 4% of student athletes play in college, 4% of those that played in high school, and then 2% of those go on to play pro. And so, yeah, the numbers aren't great, but the way that Catalyst is really designed is to kind of fill in the question that I think I should have been thinking about when I was in, gosh, I mean, at any point in my life, I mean, in junior high, if this process I'm talking about with smart purpose, um, with knowing my story, knowing my morals, knowing my aptitude in terms of my gift, right? Taking responsibility, even though something isn't my fault, it is my responsibility to respond to it in a healthy way. And then understanding who do I want to be a hero to in terms of like who do I want to serve with my work. Like for me, who I want to serve with my work is athletes, entrepreneurs, and at-risk kids. Like if I can touch all three of those, which I'm finding ways to do, then I have a roadmap for how to live life. And I can get that in junior high. If I can get that in junior high, then how I approach college is different. How I approach sport is completely different. And so if I have that in junior high, then when I go to college to play sports, I'm already leveraging the actual opportunity that I have. And the opportunity is not just to get a sociology degree like I got. The opportunity is to understand, okay, what is my story? What are my morals? What is my aptitude and my gift? What is the responsibility and the action that I'm going to take? And then who do I want to be a hero to? And how do I tap into those and pay attention to that while I'm on this journey of playing sports? And so to answer your question, yes, I'm speaking with schools. I'm talking with former athletes at, at any at all levels, essentially.
Man,
Dude. Dude.
and I think what we miss, and you're big into relationships, and you're
Yeah.
big into this human interaction, which of course is something that we've talked about on this show, something that I think is so important.
Yeah.
But what we miss, I think, is we've got the macro issues that we have around the cultural debate, and then we've got sort of the micro issues, right? And they're two very different fights that we tend to want to kind of merge into this single issue, but it's not that black and white. It's much more gray than that.
Yeah.
And I love that you're approaching it from more of this micro level, that, hey, look, I was an at-risk kid. I did have a hard time, but you know what? Look, I found a way out. I found the people that inspired me, and now you're trying to pay it forward. And I think for me, it's so inspiring to hear you talk, and so inspiring to hear that message and what you're trying to give back to the community. It's incredible.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, dude. 100%.
I would have loved to have heard that junior high. I had one thing on my mind. That was
Yeah.
play sports.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you guys might be surprised. I'm not the best scholar in the bunch, but
No, we know.
I know. I figured. But, I wanted to play sports. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to be a soccer player. And that was all I wanted to do. That was it. I planned for nothing other than that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
would have loved to have heard about this. I would have loved to have talked to somebody about this in middle school, because I didn't think about anything else other than that. So.
Yeah. What do you feel like, because the way I see it is that wanting to play sports is really good. Like, it's awesome. Like, you should totally embrace. Like, I don't have any, like, I don't want anyone to approach an athlete, but like, you should really tone down the athleticism, kind of bring up the education, kind of balance it out so you have something to fall back on. Like, I totally reject that. I say go 100% in on athletics, but understand, like, how can you leverage that? Because you can leverage that so many ways along the way to like build a community that when it's time for you to hang them up, like, it's just the next phase, but it's like, it's a part of the journey. But along the way, you brought, like, you engaged your professors, and you engaged people that didn't have a voice on campus. And you had, like, you were able to build this community while you were playing your sport, and then when it came time for you to do something different, like, you had a CR, 1,000 relationships. Every athlete should have 1,000 quality relationships by the time they're done with sports.
Because instead of it being the fallback plan or something to fall back to, it's part of the plan.
Yeah.
it just becomes part of the process. It becomes
Right.
part of how you engage every day.
Yeah.
And this is why it's important to add this to your repertoire.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I
Yeah,
love that.
I never thought about that along the way
Yeah. Me either.
at all.
And most athletes probably don't, which is why
Yeah.
you're trying to go after this segment.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's incredible.
Fantastic.
Talk to me about partnerships. Partnerships has to be a big part of what you do, because we touched in the first part about in part one of your episode about the fact that your business at Northwest Advisory is about payment solutions, right? And giving consultation and trying to make sure that they've got the right solutions for their business. But clearly you're offering much deeper business consultation than that. You're giving advice. And we heard at the end of part one how your breadth of knowledge as far as being able to consult with small businesses. But you also mentioned on your website, you say that no business can go it alone, right? And so talk about the importance of partnerships with you as a business owner, and maybe give some advice for our other small business listeners. What is the importance of creating partnerships with other maybe tangential industries or tangential other businesses, where you can give a broader solution to your clients and at the same time help build up these other businesses that you're in partnership with? Why is that such an important part of what you do, and why is that an important part of small business ownership?
Yeah, that's a good question, because the reality is that business owners get solicited like every single hour on the day. There's somebody that wants to be on their calendar. And because of that, it makes it really hard for them to sort through who's real and who isn't. And so the partnership piece for me is being able to connect with someone that I trust, that I vetted, that I know does a great job, so that when they get introduced to my client knows that they're for real. And that's really important, because I want my clients to be, ultimately I want them to be successful. And because if they're not successful, then I'm not successful. Right. So there's one partnership there, is that if they're not successful, I don't have a client. So everything that I recommend to them has to make them better. Right. Because if it doesn't, then it's going to hurt me. It's going to hurt my family. Right. And so everything is about partnership. Even, whether it's somebody that does web design, or whether it's somebody that, has a good point of sale system, we spend half our time focused on who do we know that does great work in XYZ space, so that when my client asks for help, we know that it's somewhere we can send them that's trustworthy. If they need to figure out a lending situation, if they need to figure out their accounting, their bookkeeping, they need to figure out something with, their marketing, or whatever it may be, we want to have a really close relationship with the people that we recommend to them. Because if we don't, and they end up working with one of these companies, it could hurt their business. It could be a really bad situation. And if there's anything that we can do to make sure our business owners don't go through that, it's making sure that we do a good job of vetting partners and finding good people to work with.
I mean, that just really sets you apart and what you're all about compared to other businesses, because I don't think most businesses think in those terms, right? They think, well, we do this. This is our lane. Stay in your lane. If my client needs something outside of that, a little shrug of the shoulders. But
Yeah.
that's incredible, man.
Yeah. I'm big on trying to figure out, when I have these conversations with my clients, is just getting a good feel of, like, who do they work with and who do they really like? I have a client that's a restaurant owner, and she has this insurance agent that she just loves, and this insurance agent's always there at their restaurant when they were open. He's always there eating, supporting. Most people have an insurance agent. They have no idea, just like credit card processing is like, who's your credit card processor? Who's your insurance agent? I don't know. I haven't talked to him in 4 or 5 years, so when I find people that are like that, it's like, it's easy for me to recommend them because they're showing up and they're doing the hard stuff. The hard stuff is staying in front of your clients, staying in touch, and taking a genuine interest. So I look for partners that are like that. A genuine interest is real. There's no tactic that because genuine interest just isn't a tactic, but nothing is better for business than just being genuinely interested in making sure your people, and even the people you don't work with, are successful. So I have plenty of people in that are, I would consider friends, that they don't do credit card processing with me, and that's okay. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, it's like, I want them to be successful, and if they don't think that's me, that's cool. I still value them. I still think that they're, they have a great business, and we'll probably work together one day if the time comes around.
Yeah. Outstanding, Keith, man. You are unbelievable, and you are exactly what we value in this show, what we value, what we're all about. You are such a important inspiration. You're an important example to what the small business community is supposed to be about. And we appreciate you taking the time. If you're ever going to speak somewhere, you let us know. I will be there because I cannot get enough of everything that you're saying. You are fantastic. But we're going to leave it there for tonight. But before we go, Ben, it's time.
Is it time already?
Already.
Oh,
Keith.
Yeah.
It's time for the final question.
What's the final question?
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm going to do something different.
Okay.
Let's go back to 2006, 2007-ish.
Hey, Canope, you want to go grab a beer? All right, we'll just let you guys.
They're gonna reminisce for a while. We'll come back when they're done dancing.
2006, 2007,
Yeah.
and we go out to lunch, and what was that place called? The Riverview Restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
A Lombard.
Lombard, yeah, on the left-hand side of the street when you're heading down. Yeah,
exactly.
I remember that. Sits right on the corner.
Yes.
Yep. Exactly. Or like
We go
one
to
building
lunch.
over from the corner.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
We go to
Mhm.
lunch, and I'm listening to you talk about what you're saying now and how important it was for you to kind of not separate yourself as an athlete turned business entrepreneur, but embrace both of those together. And you're doing, dude, that was like freaking 15 years ago, homie.
Yeah.
And you're doing it now.
Yeah.
The final question is, when you dropped me off back at the bank and you left, what was playing on your radio when you left the bank?
Oh my gosh. Are you serious? That's your question?
Yes, absolutely.
Dude, I have no idea. What, Tupac? What was I listening to? Tupac?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Do it. Just do it. Just guess. It's a guess. I don't know. Just
Tupac.
guess. Tupac.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
song? What song?
Oh man, what would I have been listening to? Picture Me Rolling.
I can picture it.
Picture Me Rolling.
I can picture these two.
And it's honest to God truth. You, Keith, you are doing what you said you were going to do 15 years ago. I'm so proud of you, man. I'm so proud to know you. I'm so proud that I'm so glad. I'm so happy, thankful that we have kept together all these years, and like, just keep doing what you're doing. You're going to be just fine.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
For real. It's awesome.
I appreciate it, man. That's what every man wants. Every man wants to know that in the end that he did what he said he was going to do, and he followed through on what he said he wanted to do. I remember when I remember going to a seminar after graduating from college, and this guy had given this great motivational talk. He's a black guy in a suit, and it's like, like, I was emotional at the end of the night. I was like, man, how do I be a man? that was my question. You know, everyone had all their other questions about how to build a business and all that. I was like, man, how do I be a man? And I think what I was asking was like, how do I earn the respect of the people that I respect? And how do I look at myself in the mirror and be proud? And at the end of the day, he was like, man, you're doing it. And what it is doing what you say you're going to do. When you say you're going to do it, long after in which the feeling has been gone, right? After you don't feel like doing it anymore, are you still going to go out and serve clients and show up and get a coach when you need to work on your personality and go to seminars and just do stuff that you don't really want to do, or even sometimes things that you really can't afford, but you do it because it's the right thing to do? And I think most men want to feel like they did the right thing. And so my whole goal is to try to live into that and to hopefully inspire other people to do the same thing.
You inspired me, brother.
Yeah, man, I believe.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for having me on tonight, man. It's been an awesome night. I'm going to finish both of these beers and go hang out with my wife.
Yeah, if people want to find out more about you and your business, where would you like people to go?
Go directly to keithsconiers.com. You can also follow me on Instagram there. You can follow me there on Facebook. And that'll take you to any of the, ventures that I'm working on.
Awesome. Well, as always, everything, including Keith's contact information that we talked about tonight on this show, will be in the show notes and the blog post for this episode. Go check it out there, Keith. Thank you, my man, for being on the show.
Thank you too, Turkey Creek, Canope, Ben.
Canope. Hey, Canope. If people want to find Business Over Beer, where do they go?
Well, they go to bizoverbeer.com, of course. That's BIZ overbeer.com. You can watch us. You can listen to us. You can read our blogs. You can see our social media handles. You can see everything you need to know there, as well as a particular link that I think you're quite familiar with.
Oh, the Patreon link. Become a BC member. Keith, I want you to become a Patreon.
All right. Okay. Call it good. Done deal. Consider it done.
The biggest thing is that you get to bring your energy.
Yeah.
And you can bring your influence to every monthly happy hour.
Oh, man. That sounds so much fun.
We mastermind with other entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And small business owners. And you know a couple of them already. Yeah. You met with one yesterday.
Yeah. Sweet. Let's do it. Let's rock and roll.
All right,
absolutely.
I'm ready. Thank you so much. Hey, look, Canope, Turkey Creek Bat Squatch.
Oh, man.
Taylor, I love you. Keith, thank you so much, man. Watchers, listeners, Patreons, we would not be here without you. We appreciate all of you. You're our sponsors. We love you too. We will see all of you next time.
You got it.
Good night.
Good night.
Business Over Beer reminds you to always drink responsibly. Our theme song is Idiocracy by Christian Leo. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on Business Over Beer, a TH3 Entertainment production.